All right, here we go with 6.4, exponential growth and decay. This is a follow-up to what we learned in lesson 6.3, which is when we just were introduced to exponential functions, in which we were looking mostly at the b value, the base, and if the base value was greater than 1, we knew that our graph was growing. It was going up and to the right exponentially. And if the b value was between 0 and 1, then we knew our graph was going down and to the right exponentially. And so if it's going up and to the right, it's growth. If it's going down and to the right, it's decay. The other piece of information was the a value. And with the a value, we knew that that determined where the y-intercept was. So in 6.3, we saw this as our formula. And our a was our initial amount, and our b was our base, and then x was our exponent. We made a table of values, and we were able to graph these functions. Well, now we're going to look at how exponential functions are really used, how we can actually see them in real-world situations. And so here are a couple that I came up with. These are just to give you an idea of where we will see exponential growth and exponential decay. One of the first places is with automobiles. When you buy a new car, it immediately starts depreciating, meaning it goes down in value. Because as you put miles on the car, as you use the car more and more, well, when you go to resell that car, you're going to get less money for it than what you bought it for. That is an example of exponential decay. An example of exponential growth is real estate. And so, for the most part, if you buy land, if you buy a home, a couple of years from now, it will be worth more than what you bought it for. And this is called appreciation. And appreciation is an example of exponential growth. It is going up in value over time. Another example of exponential decay is electronics. Think of all the things that you have at your fingertips. Phones, computers, iPads, you name it. Much like cars, they go down in value over time. Nobody's going to buy your used phone from you for more than what you paid for it when you first bought it. So the value of electronics goes down over time. Well, what about this? This is an example. It's obviously a growth graph, but we're looking at it as it relates to population. The population of most places is always going up. There's more and more people in the world every year. It just keeps growing and growing. You might have certain cities or towns that sometimes maybe go down a little bit in a given year, but overall, the amount of people in this world just keeps going up. And the last one, and the one that you guys will stumble upon maybe in a couple of years, is investing. We, of course, invest money in order to make more money. And so there's a lot of things that go into this. There's things called compound interest, which you'll learn a little bit more about as you get older. But the idea is you want to put your money into something so that 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you are making money on your original money. And this is called investing. Okay, so those are some places that we'll see exponential growth and exponential decay used in the real world. Now what we're going to be looking at is we are going to be looking at how we use these functions to help us solve these exponential problems. And so we have two formulas we're going to learn today. The first one, exponential growth, is y equals a times 1 plus r to the t exponent. What does all that mean? Well, first of all, your a, and you see it down here, that's your initial amount. So it could be the amount that you invested with. It could be the amount you bought a house for. And it's the amount that you started with. Well, the r here is what's called your rate. And it's either going to be your growth rate or your decay rate. Well, if this is an addition sign, we know that it's going to be growth. If this is a subtraction sign, it's going to be decay. And so your r is the rate at which it's either growing or decaying. And the r is going to be given to you as a percent. Now, when we do percents, I want you to think about the following fraction. If you had a test and you scored 89 out of 100 on a test, your percent, or this becomes a decimal, 0.89. But we know that that really means 89%. So the way that you write this percent is as a decimal. And that's what we will be doing when we do exponential growth and exponential decay. So when you see this 1 plus the r, the 1 is actually like a placeholder for the amount you started with, 100% of the amount you started with, plus the rate of growth. And then t is time. And this is almost always measured in number of years. For what we're going to be doing in this lesson, t will be the number of years. Now, when you're dealing with exponential growth, it's not always going to say, this is an exponential growth question. You have to look at some of the vocabulary that's being used. And so some of the words you're going to see for growth are words like increase, appreciate, grow, earns. These are all words that relate to the idea that something is growing in value over time. And so when you compare the function formula we worked with in 6.3 with the function formula here, it's not really any different, except your b is now just all of this. Okay? We still have an initial amount, a. We still have everything taken to an exponent, a variable exponent, t versus x, and then 1 plus r is the base of the exponent. And so now let's start with a simple word problem. This has to do with the population of rabbits. And so in this population of rabbits in the year 2005, there were 100 rabbits. So that's our initial amount, our a value. And they're in a park. Well, rabbits like to hang out with other rabbits and make more rabbits. And so the population of those rabbits is growing, increased. See, there's one of my words that means growth. It's going up by 11%. Now, much like over here, I showed you that 89% is written as 0.89. Well, 11% is written as 0.11. And so for my function, what I'm doing is I'm saying the population of bunnies, I'm going to use P for population, bunnies, rabbits, whatever. And we have our initial amount of 100, and then 1 plus our growth rate, which is 0.11, and that's to our t value. That is our function. And so now what we can do is we can replace the t with the number of years since 2005 to find the population of the rabbits based on this growth model. So if I want to know what's the population of rabbits 2 years from now, I can make t2. If I want to know the population of the rabbits 10 years from now, I can make the t 10. Well, the follow-up question is, what will the population be in 2025? Well, if we started in 2005 and we want to know what the population is in 2025, well, that is 20 years that have gone by. So all I'm going to do now is take this 20 and replace the t right here. So now my population of rabbits is going to be the 100 rabbits that we started with in 2005. And then 1 plus 0.11 is 1.11. So that's my b value, my base. And my t is now 20. Okay? Now at this point, we want to get out our calculator. So in my calculator, I'm going to type in exactly what I see. I have the 100 initial rabbits, parentheses, 1.11, that was the 1 plus the 11% growth, close parentheses, exponent button, okay, remember this one right here, it's like a little carrot, and it's going to, hey, carrot, rabbits, that's funny, to the 20th power. That means 20 years from the first year that there were 100 rabbits, and now I press enter. Now that decimal, we don't want to write that decimal. We're talking about rabbits. So we would round this to 806 rabbits. I don't have enough rabbits to make the 807th rabbit, so I have enough though to say 806 rabbits. So that would be my final answer. After 20 years at this growth rate, there are now 806 rabbits in this park. So that's our first example of exponential growth. Now as we look at the exponential decay model, there's only one subtle difference, and that is a subtraction sign. And so if you remember, when we were doing exponential growth and decay the other day on our graphs, if b was greater than 1, the graph went up. So if it's increasing and we add an R value to 1, like with the rabbits, it was 1.11, that's bigger than 1, it was growing. Well, if we subtract the rate of decay, we're going to get a number inside of here that's less than 1. And that's going to produce decay just like it did the other day. So we're still going to have an initial amount. We're still going to have a rate. We're still going to have t for time. But now, if you think back to a y equals a times b to the x, well, if we subtract a number in here, now your b value is going to be between 0 and 1. And that's going to lead to an exponential decay. And so some of the words you'll see for exponential decay, we have decrease, depreciate, loses, as in like loses value over time, decline, the population declines over time. And so we have this person here, Quinn, and they own a motorcycle that is $15,000, okay? Whether they bought it used or new doesn't matter, but we know that they just paid $15,000 for this motorcycle, but it's depreciating, that key word there, depreciating, going down in value of 25% per year. How do I know it's per year? This word annual. Annual means yearly. Okay? So now, if I'm going to write a function, I have the value of the motorcycle, so I'll put M for motorcycle. It doesn't really matter if you put Y here. It doesn't matter. I'm just putting M for motorcycle. And we know that $15,000 was spent. And now it's 1 minus the R. 1 minus 0.25. And then over time, how many years, we can figure out how much it's worth. Well, in reality, let's go ahead and simplify this right now, the inside of the parentheses. It's really 15,000 times, well, 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75. So there's my B value that's between 0 and 1. That's how I know it's decay and not growth. Well, down here, let's figure out, well, how much is this motorcycle worth 5 years from now? We already know it's going to be a number smaller than 15,000 because it's going down in value. So I'm going to do the value of the motorcycle is equal to 15,000 times 0.75, and because it's after 5 years, I'm making the exponent 5. And so now we're going to take our calculator, and we're going to do exactly that. We have a $15,000 motorcycle times 0.75, close parentheses, to the 5th year. And now after 5 years, that motorcycle would be worth, and let's say 3,000, we'll just round it to 3,560. Just kind of give it a somewhat of a nice round number. So $3,560. Oh, it did say nearest cent. I just saw that in the instructions. Okay, so we'll actually say $3,559.57. Usually when you're selling expensive items like this, you're not too worried about the cents, but we'll go ahead and put that in there. So that is the value of the motorcycle. And that just kind of gives you an idea. Automobiles, motorcycles, things like farming equipment, they just go down over time. That's just a totally natural thing. Okay? So that's a good example of exponential decay. Now what you're going to have is you are going to see 6 word problems in your homework. Some of them are growth, some of them are decay. They all deal with real-world problems. You're going to want to make sure you understand how to write the function, how to plug in the function into your calculator, and then if you need to round your answer, figure out, am I rounding to the nearest whole number, or maybe I'm rounding to the nearest cent because it is money. Okay? And then we will be utilizing these skills in combination with the skills from 6.3 and the graphs as we work on our project at the end of this week. Okay? All right. Good luck with your notes and good luck with your assignment 1 through 6. See you next time.